Tonight's first impressions video was requested by OAW faithful Jakeem. Salute to you, sir. Jakeem was the winner of both the Super Chat sweepstakes and the Geek Jeopardy from May's live Q&A. And this was one of the videos he requested. But if you have a request for a television series that you would like to see me do a first impression style review of, please feel free, become a patron of OAW Entertainment at patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. In addition to your request for a first impression style video, you also get access to any and all Patreon exclusive content. You get access to the OAW Vault, which is the first 2 seasons of Otaku Assemble Weekly, the original anime and manga review web series that kicked off the channel. And you get an invite to join me during my live Q&A hosted right here on the OAW YouTube channel, as well as the OAW Facebook page. So once again, that is patreon.com/OAW and select the blockbuster tier. And with that being said, this is my first impressions of the Netflix original series Dark. So let's get into it.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
Greetings to everyone watching live and everyone watching after the fact. Shout out to the faithful and salute to the patrons. This is Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief, here to bring you all the first review of July 2020. How's everyone doing? And this is going to be pretty much my initial thoughts, first impressions of the Netflix original series Dark. Now, real quick, I will keep this as spoiler free as possible, but I don't think that'll be too big of a challenge tonight, just because, like I said, it's sort of like first impressions, like straight off, like just initial thoughts. Like, hey man, like for the record, I have not finished the series. I'm just letting y'all know what I think about it so far. So spoiler-wise, I don't think that'll be too big of a problem. But I'll just let you guys know what I'm feeling about the series. But feel free to, leave your comments, share your thoughts in the comments below. Also, if you guys have any questions or comments that you want to make sure get read before the end of tonight's broadcast, please feel free to drop a super chat and I'll make sure I'll get to those before I wrap up tonight's show. All right, so for the synopsis that we are going to use for tonight's broadcast, once again, I am going to be reading directly from the description box. So please feel free, click the link and click read more and read along with me. Okay, so this is my initial thoughts and first impressions of the 2017 German science fiction television series Dark, co-created by Baran Odar and hang on, I'm gonna get that pronunciation right. Time out now. Jantje Friese, and released by Netflix. All right, and a brief synopsis of Dark. Set in the fictitious South German town of Winden, Dark concerns the aftermath of a child's disappearance, which exposes the secrets of and hidden connections among 4 estranged families as they slowly unravel a sinister time travel conspiracy which spans several generations. Throughout the series, Dark explores the existential implications of time and its effects upon human nature. So that was as brief, but also as descriptive as a synopsis that I could find. I actually pulled that one straight off the Wikipedia page because I think it pretty much gives you like the best idea of what this series entails, or at least what you can expect to get from this series. So, so per Jakeem's request, what I did was I went ahead and I checked out the first 2 episodes. So the first episode entitled Secrets and the second episode entitled Lies. And pretty much to go into a little bit more detail about what is covered within the first 2 episodes. So first and foremost, let me go ahead and throw this out there for anyone wondering. This series is somewhat of a slow burn. It does take a while before things get going in the series. I will say that. But the first episode, the pilot episode, Secrets, I think actually does a fairly good job at giving us the initial setup, introducing us to the main characters, which encompass the 4 families mentioned in the synopsis. So introducing us to them, giving us a little bit of a background on each one of them, and then of course the event that takes place at the end of the episode is, of course, said child's disappearance. The one thing that Synopsis leaves out, though, there is actually two kids missing. There are two kids missing. There's one kid missing at the very start of the first episode. Like, as we're introduced to these characters, one is already missing. But the inciting event at the end of the first episode is the second child's disappearance, right? So, first episode does a pretty good job at covering that. Second episode goes into a little bit more detail. Just because we have the immediate aftermath, right? We have the immediate reactions of all of the characters involved, or at least the main characters involved, right? And then we start to learn a little bit more about the town of Winden and its history, and get a little bit more information about the fact like this has happened before, and that there are multiple speculations about, and this is and the other. All right, so let me go ahead and get into a little bit more detail about some of the things I'm talking about. Okay, so and y'all got to bear with me with some of these names now because this is a German series, so bear with me. Okay, so as I mentioned in the first episode is when we get introduced to like the main cast, right? Or at least most of the main cast. And that includes, let's see, Jonah. Actually, hang on. Let me pull up. Right. So we get introduced to, okay, so first it's the teenage kids, right? Which let's see, that is Jonas, Bartos. I'm just going to call him Bart. For the sake of this video, I'm calling him Bart. So his best friend Bart, Bart's girlfriend Martha, who is also Jonas's love interest. So y'all figure that out. That went out for yourselves, right? And then so those are the first three teenage kids, and then there is Magnus, and who is also Martha's brother, right? And then there is Franziska, who is sort of like the creepy, weird loner rocker skater chick. I know I just threw out a whole bunch of synonyms that might not actually apply to her, but they kind of already start to set her up as Magnus's love interest, or what we can assume will eventually become Magnus's love interest. So yeah, so those are the 5 teenage kids, and then the final kid is Mikkel, who is Martha and Magnus. Oh, wow. They all start with M's. I just realized that. But Martha and Magnus's youngest brother, their little brother, and he's the one that goes missing by the end of the first episode, right? As I mentioned before, at the start of the episode, though, there is already a kid missing, and that is, and that is the character of Eric, or Eric, is currently missing. All right, so those are the kids' main characters. And then we get introduced to their parents. So first opening scene of the first episode, we get introduced to Jonas's dad, Michael, because we see, because the first scene is actually, well, I'm not going to tell y'all what happens in the first scene, but we see what happens to Jonas's dad in the first scene, which sets up Jonas's backstory. And then we are introduced to his mom, Hannah, who didn't even wait 5 months before her husband was in the grave, and she's already banging Ulrich, who is Martha, Magnus, and Mikkel's dad, but is also Katharina's husband. Yeah, that happens. And he is also the detective that has sort of taken the lead in the missing persons case for Eric in the first episode. And then, of course, by the second episode, since it's his youngest son who goes missing, he ends up, really, really pursuing this case. And then let me see who else there is. Wait a minute. Bart's mom. I forget her name. I think is she introduced in the first or the second episode? Anyway, we get introduced to both of Bart's parents. Alexander is his dad, and he's also the director of the nuclear power plant that's in town, and his mom runs the hotel that's there, but I forget her name. And then let's see, there's also Charlotte, who is Franziska's mom and is Oryx's police co-worker. And let me see who else. Oh, and then we don't get a formal Regina. That's Bart's mom's name, Regina. Thank you, Jakeem. And then okay. So yeah, so that's pretty much all the main characters, right? We got the 5 kids, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parents. Unless there's somebody else I'm missing. But so far. And then there are some smaller characters too. So like Jonas's grandmother, at least in the first 2 episodes, is pretty much like a background character. So we haven't actually been formally introduced to her. We just see scenes with her. And the same thing with Oryx's parents too. In the first 2 episodes, they don't become big players yet either. So yeah. So I'll for the time being, I'll just call them supporting characters. And then yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much the main cast. All right, so where was I going with this? Yeah, because I talked about episode 1, and then okay, a little bit more information about episode 2. So as I mentioned, episode 2 sort of introduces some more mysteries, if you will, right? We get some more details about some mysteries. So for an example, I know I done actually already spoiled what happened with Jonas and his dad, with Jonas's dad, right? In the opening scene of the first episode, Jonas's dad commits suicide, right? And we don't know why. Well, Jonas starts to look into that in the second episode. So that's one of the mysteries that we start to, unravel in the second episode. The other one is, remember how I mentioned Oric, right? The police officer who takes over, who's in charge of the search for Eric, the first missing boy. And then, of course, his son, Mikhail, goes missing. And so he really takes the charge on that case, right? Well, guess what? We find out his kid brother ended up missing. I think, what did they say? It's because this takes place in 2019, in 1986. So do some math. What is that? 33 years? Is that right? No, that's not right. Or maybe that is right. 33 years. Yeah, his own brother went missing, right? So another thing that kind of makes the case personal for him. So that's another mystery. Let's see. Another kid's body shows up that isn't Eric or Mikhail out of the blue. So that's another mystery. The foreboding warning from the old man who remembers when Oryx's brother went missing. That's another clue, or that's another mystery. Let's see. What's another one that we get in the second episode? Well, of course, the power plant is always sort of a mysterious, sort of this like mysterious overbearing sort of thing in the series, just because it's off limits, and this is a small town. So the fact that no one really knows what goes on in the power plant, because no one's allowed to go there. And the power plant's pretty strict about that, even in terms of even in terms of not allowing the police to at least, I don't want to say canvas search the facility. Like they won't even let Oric into the facility when he has reason to believe that maybe his son got onto the premises. They won't even allow that without a warrant. And then of course it's hell to get a warrant in that place in the first place, right? So that's kind of that's of course suspicious. And then there's a new character that gets introduced briefly, right? We don't know anything about him. But we know he knows what the hell is going on, or at least we have reason to believe that he knows what the hell is going on. A hooded, mysterious figure, because they do that thing. One of those gets introduced in the second episode, and of course, we don't know what the hell's up with him yet. And then the freaky nature stuff. What do I mean by freaky nature stuff? First off, flat light, like the power going in and out of the entire town, and then all the birds dying. Yeah, I think that's how we end the second episode. Well, second to last scene of the second episode. We actually, in the second episode, finding out what actually, well, yeah, finding out what happened to Mikkel. Or Mikkel. Mikkel, I guess is how you pronounce it, Mikkel. Finding out what happened to Mikkel. Yeah. All right. So what do I think about it? Well, like I said, it's a slow burn. It's a slow burn. Yeah, it's a slow burn. There's nothing. Actually, I see my man DeJean right here ask me. He says, "Are you curious to finish this series for the mystery?" So, truth be told, not really. And here's the thing about that. I mean, like I said, the series isn't bad, right? Because once again, it's setting everything up properly, I think. All the pieces are in the right place at this point in time in the series. Granted, it's only the first 2 episodes, but just kind of take in consideration, we're talking about, because I think these are like 48-minute episodes, right? So in less than 2 hours, they've already kind of set a lot of stuff up, right? So of course, it's just a matter of execution at that point, right? Being able to stick the landing, being able to pay off a lot of the things that you're setting up. Right now, the series is set up to pull that off particularly well. All right, cool. Here's the thing, though. I'm not invested. Yeah, I'm not invested. Truth be told, I didn't care much for the characters. The only character that I really sort of... Okay, there were 2 characters. Jonas, number 1, is the only one that I really sort of took a liking to, just because of the tragedy in his background, and the fact that he's still he's suffering from trauma of that, losing his father and whatnot. So I can sympathize with them. And then the second character, surprisingly, is Magnus, because Magnus is introduced sort of like the stereotypical jock older brother, right? He's always picking on his little brother, and he's always, he's teasing his sister and stuff like that. But when his little brother goes missing, you see that it bothers him. And I get the feeling that, we're really going to sort of go more in depth and really start peeling the layers off of him. Because instantly you saw that reaction. When he realized his little brother was gone. So, and once again, I can kind of appreciate that, right? As for the rest of the characters, though, I kind of didn't care. I'll be honest with you all. I kind of didn't care. I give zero shits about Hannah, Jonas's mom. 0 shits about her. And I give slightly... No, I give 0 shits about Ulrich too. I give 0 shits about him too. Both of them can go jump in a ditch. I don't care about either one of them. And then I mean, I'm a little curious to see how the whole time travel thing works. Because once again, when I was researching the series and looking up on Wikipedia and whatnot, I saw I saw something and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's what it is. But what I don't still know is, okay, is it natural or is it man-made? Does the power plant know about it? Are they responsible for creating it? Yes or no? Clearly, there are people who are aware of said time travel and who are using it for certain motives, because we know when we actually do see what happened to Eric, the first kid that was missing, he's not alone. So that other person must clearly know what's going on, right? Yeah, okay, I'm a little curious, but enough to finish 8 more episodes? It didn't hook me. That's what I'm saying. It didn't hook me. Yeah. I said, I'm a little particular when it comes to time travel stories, mostly because most of them aren't done very well. I'm not saying that Dark isn't going to do it well. But I'm just talking about my natural sort of hesitancy towards the material. Once I figured out what we were actually doing, I was just kind of like, okay. But yeah, with something like this, you really need to the characters have to be the thing that hooks me. And so far they haven't. So far they haven't. I did start watching the third episode, so I saw what happens with Mikkel, or at least what happens to him at the beginning of that third episode when we finally locate him and when he finds out where he is, right? But it still wasn't enough to hook me. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I don't know. I could go back and revisit it. And of course, if someone requests for me to do so, I will. But as it stands right now, man, you know, it's okay. It's not a bad show, but it just didn't hook me. That's all. Yeah. So that's pretty much my first impressions on it. Well, let me see. What else? It's shot very well. I'll give it credit for that. And the music's not bad either. Score's pretty good. So, well, the main score I'm talking about. The main score is pretty good. So, yeah, I mean, it's a fine little show. Yeah. Oh man, yeah. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. That's all I got, guys. Can't really go too much in depth without spoiling a little bit of other stuff, I guess. But like I said, not too much to share. It's kind of a slow burn. All right. And I see Jakeem is in the building. So oh my God, Jakeem just told me that's not even the start for Hannah. Oh, okay. Well then, yeah. Chances are I'm not gonna like this show then. Yeah, yeah, because that's my least favorite character in the show, and chances are, okay, if she gets worse, then yeah, I'm not going to like this show. Then I'll tell you that right now. It's one thing. It's one thing to not be able to pull me in, right? It's one thing to not be able to hook me. It's another thing to turn me off. That comment that Jakeem left sounds like it could turn me off of the show. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dang. Oh man. Dang. Woo. That was kind of I shouldn't have read that comment, man. That was kind of rough. Mm. All right, guys. All right. Well, if there's no super chats or anything like that, and I don't see any questions in the comments, so unfortunately, I know this one. Well, I mean, we're at 23 minutes. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I don't need to make this video any longer than it already is. Yeah, it's time for me to get out of here, guys. So I do want to take this opportunity once again to thank Jakeem, as always, for subscribing to the channel, popping in every week. Jakeem is always in here, almost every stream. Once again, shout out to you, sir. Thanks, for subscribing to the channel, for tuning in, for supporting the channel. And for requesting this first impressions video. Hopefully I did it justice. I know because I know we talked a little. Actually no, you and Nick talked about the show when we were off camera. In the after party, you and Nick was chopping it up about the show, and I was just trying not to spoil myself, or I was trying to clue in on something that might intrigue me about the show. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to go ahead because that's what y'all kept telling me. Oh, Larry, you just gonna have to watch it. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll just wait around to watch it. So hopefully I did this video justice. I gave it my best shot, my man. I gave it my best shot. But for those of y'all watching, once again, if you have a television series that you would like to see me do a first impressions, first take style video on, please become a patron of OAW Entertainment at patreon.com/OAW and select the Blockbuster tier. Remember, with that tier, not only do you get my first impressions on at least 2 episodes of a 1-hour television series, or 4 episodes of a 4 episodes of a 30-minute TV series, so 2 hours worth of content. Not only do you get a request for a first impression style video of that material, but you also get access to all Patreon exclusive content, and you get access to the OAW Vault, which is the original first 2 seasons of Otaku Assemble Weekly, the anime and manga review web series that kicked off the channel. And then, of course, you also get invited to the live monthly Q&A that is hosted right here on the OAW Entertainment YouTube channel, as well as the OAW Entertainment Facebook page. Once again, that is patreon.com/OAW and select the Blockbuster tier. All right, guys. Dejan says it's the after party. The after party is pretty much us in the stream after we've done broadcasting. So we kind of just hang out in the stream and we kind of chop it up. I don't know. I might end up making that a thing just because the last 2 have been ridiculous. And I'm not lying. The last 2 quote unquote after parties, we're up until the sun comes up. Like, we're literally in the stream the whole night chopping it up about stuff. Yeah, it's been kind of crazy. All right, guys. So what can you look forward to later this week as well as later this month? So, guys, guess what? For the month of July, I have a movie and or television review for you every Monday. I have an anime review for you every Wednesday, and I'm going to have a top 5 for you. Well, 3 of the 4 Fridays in July. So that's pretty much going to be our schedule for this month. Monday is movie/TV review. Wednesday is an anime review. Friday is top 5. And they're going to be coming to you guys live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday this month. So next up is going to be an anime review. It's going to be another old school anime that you guys have probably never heard of, but I guarantee you're going to want to check out this review. Because I was surprised at what it was, and I'm pretty sure you guys will be surprised. You guys are going to come check. Y'all show up on Wednesday to check out the review. I promise you, y'all gonna go look this movie up and check it out for yourselves, especially if you're fans. Once again, sticking with some subject matter, right? If you guys are sci-fi fans, y'all gonna dig the next anime review. So tune in on Wednesday, 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time. So once again, this has been Larry Williams, OAW Commander-in-Chief. I am signing off, and until next time, ladies and gents, peace.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?